Hey guys, so today I definitely have a different video for you, and it is an unboxing video, and it is an unboxing video of the brand new Cricut Maker. And I had to zoom all the way out to get this bad boy in frame because it is huge. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the brand new Cricut machine that was released on August 20th. And this is now the flagship machine of the Cricut family. So this has now taken, you know, the top crown away from the previous machine, which was the, I think, Cricut Explorer Air 2, I think was the flagship machine before. And this is the newest machine in the family. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox it and share with you what is in the box. So for those of you who don't know, I did a Silhouette versus Cricut video about 3 years ago, and that is the last time I bought a Cricut machine. I tend to gravitate more towards my Silhouette than I do either of the Cricut machines. And it's really just a matter of personal preference. But I kind of saw the quick preview down and dirty of this, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a try, because if this works as well as they advertise it to work, this might be a game changer for those who are crafters that are into multiple medias, and particularly those who are into sewing. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy opened up. And the first thing we find in the box is a Let's Get Started guide. So in this Let's Get Started guide, let's see what's in here. Cardboard box. So we have materials for your first project. And let me go ahead and fix this box because it's going to want to keep popping open. So materials for your first project, and in here we have some pieces of fabric, some cardstock, and it looks like some canvas, or maybe some, actually that's thicker paper. So we have this envelope, and that's just some materials. Next in the box we have a actual booklet, and to my surprise, this how-to instruction booklet is actually in color. So it explains what the various tools are that are available for the machine. Some of these tools come in the box and some are purchased separately. For example, now there are the mats look like they've been redone because they don't have that snowflake image in the middle. But it shows you the different tools and the different items that are available for your machine. And looking in here, there actually is some instructions that point out the different pieces of the actual machine. Now this is definitely different because most companies have phased out these little books. And if you do get these books, they're usually not in color. So it's actually a glossy color book, which is surprising to see. And then here we have the brand new rotary blade, which only works in the Cricut Maker. And this is for cutting fabric. So if you are a sewer, this may be of interest to you. So I'm going to get this closed up, and I'm going to move to the next part of the unboxing, which is the actual machine. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have to put this on the floor and pull it out because this is a beast. This thing is, it's very heavy. If I can find the weight difference, I will put it down at the bottom of the video, but this is substantially heavier than the Cricut Air or the Cricut Air 2. So one thing that's different now is this is cardboard as opposed to before where they were putting those big foam blocks in the box, which is a nice change because the cardboard is recyclable. And here we have the actual machine. So nice and wrapped tight with a little Cricut sticker. So I'm going to go ahead and get this open up on my work surface. So here is the actual machine. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this joker apart. And this is definitely the, you can tell it's premium at this point. At least they're packaging it so that it appears to be premium. The real test will be the cut jobs that I put it through later. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this foam pad, and there's actually some plastic packaging around this. Like, it's been sealed extra tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this plastic open and let's see what's in here. Alright, so here we have the actual machine removed from the plastic, and you can see here that we have 2 wells on the side for storage, and this well looks to be the same size as previous editions of the machine, but the second well is much deeper. And I actually have a pen here for reference. You can actually get a pen all the way in there, and it sits comfortably without hanging over the top like this one used to. How that one basically is on the Cricut Explorer. I'm looking at it across the room, and yeah, the tools kind of hang out of the top. So that's the first difference I notice. And then if we open this up, we can see now we have the actual Cricut machine, and it looks very, very similar to the Explorer. You have the actual carrier with the 2 different heads on it, your buttons, but what is different is that now the buttons are covered. So if you have this closed up all the way, these buttons are not exposed like they are on the previous edition of the machine. And we also have a slot for your tablet to go into where you can plug it in and cut from the newly designed Cricut app for, I believe it comes on Android, but I know for a fact it's available on iOS. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that styrofoam from there. And then down here we have some additional tool storage, very similar to my Silhouette. And this definitely feels very, very sturdy. Like, this top portion here is not plastic. This is metal. You can tell by how heavy it is. And it's definitely a modern look, a much more modern look than I typically would expect from Cricut, because they tend to use that lime Cricut green on everything, and this is definitely a sleeker looking product than what you typically see from them. So in terms of the actual footprint of the machine, it's relatively close in size to the Cricut Explorer, but it is much heavier, like I said. And that weight really comes down to cutting force. It's a heavier machine, and it has a much heavier cutting force than the previous generation of machine. But anyways, on the side here, you can see that there is actually a USB port for you to plug your tablet into and gain power, in addition to the ports on the back, which are the actual data port. It's that typical printer style cable, and then your power. So that is it for the actual machine. So let's see what else is in the box. So there's only a few other items in the box, one of which is the actual power brick and cord, which you can see here, and just typical white, nothing unique about that. And then we have 2 mats inside the box, which are actually quite bent, but I'm sure with time these will flatten back out if I just put something heavy on top of them. So we have a light grip mat, and we also have the fabric grip mat. And like I mentioned before, the design looks kind of different on these because that pattern is gone. And that could just be for these mats that are in the box, but they are different in terms of aesthetics. And then last but not least, we actually do have a regular cut blade, and it's housed in the machine. So if I open the machine up, and I'll pull this right here, you'll see that there is the quote-unquote adaptive tool system, and that actually is housing a regular blade. So right here in this housing, if you open it up, there is a regular blade, and this is a full-on metal housing. So first impressions of the new Cricut Maker, this is definitely a beast. This is much heavier and much more sturdier feeling in the hand than I'm not going to say than any Silhouette, but than the previous version or the current. I shouldn't say previous. It feels more like a little heavier, and there's a little more craftsmanship in this than there was in the previous release from Silhouette, which was Silhouette Cameo 3. Keep in mind, I have said this before and I will say it again, I am a fan of both die cutters. It just depends on what your goals are and what your expectations are as a crafter, but I'm definitely interested to see what this machine can do, especially the fabric cutting capabilities, because if this machine cuts as well as they claim it does, this could potentially be a game changer for you. If you are a quilter, a sewer, someone who does appliques, monograms, if they can get the design system to work as well as they claim the cutting system does, it definitely could be a tool that is worth your while. So I will leave a link to this down in the description box down below. I do know that it's available online at several retailers. It is selling out quite quickly, and shipping is definitely something you need to be mindful of because, as I've said several times already in this video, this joker is heavy. So that is it from me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up and start doing some test cuts and let you know what I think.